internet. I was planning to make a different video about this topic. I was just planning to sit and talk to you about my opinion on this whole bullshit. But then I realized that no matter how I approach this, I will end up sounding like a little whiny bitch. Especially since I do not want to involve any politics, religion, racism, any of that shit on my channel. So I am just left with the genders issue, which is very annoying because in the end, I'm gonna sound like a little whiny bitch. So in an attempt to not sound like a little whiny bitch, I'm gonna try to mainly tackle the issues on the male side. However, I will involve issues on the female side as a comparison because otherwise I feel like I'm just being one-sided, like the video that we will be viewing today. This is a very complicated subject and it definitely requires more than just one video to discuss. So we will be getting back to this topic maybe in future videos and most likely in future live streams that I'm planning to do. I will tell you more about live streams at the end of this video. According to some people, literally half of our population are shitty, disgusting rapists. And according to others, literally half of our population are shitty, disgusting sluts. I know that most of you are going to disagree with at least one of these statements. Some might even agree with both of them, some might disagree with both. It depends. For example, just days ago I came across this post on my Facebook timeline. One of my female friends commented on it. If you knew how many times I've heard the phrase, all guys are like that. I never understood it. Every boy or man that I have ever met was unique. Every one of them had their own personality, their own goals in life, their own everything. I don't understand how every guy can be like that. I just don't. So I have decided to browse the web to find out what the fuck do they mean. And I found this.
Dear Daddy, I just wanted to thank you for looking after me so well, even though I'm not yet born.
You have probably seen this video before. If you haven't, please go watch it first because I won't be putting all of that crap in here. Link in the description. Just watch it, then come back. Some YouTubers have already made responses and parodies to this video, but oh boy, do I have a lot to say as well. 5.5 million views and almost 150,000 likes, and for some reason the comments are disabled. I wonder why.
But I need to ask you a favor. Warning. It's about boys. Because, you see, I will be born a girl, which means that by the time I'm 14, the boys in my class will have called me a whore, a bitch, a cunt, and many other things. It's just for fun, of course. Something boys do.
Excuse me? Wait, what? Am I missing something here? Because last time I checked, I am a girl, and the boys in my classroom, and I attended 5 different schools, never called me a whore, a bitch, a cunt, and many others. Not for fun, not seriously, not in any way at all. Am I missing something? And it's not like I was a perfect little innocent decent girl when I was 14. Fuck that. I was wearing high heels, I was wearing short skirts, I was trying to be beautiful. It's normal for girls to behave this way, and it's normal for boys to not go and insult girls because that's just not what boys do. Actually, by the time that I was 14, the boys that I did know were very respectful, friendly, and they even gave girls compliments. And even if they did call a girl a bitch, it was because they're close friends and because she deserved it. And nobody ever got insulted or hurt because of it. That's life. Deal with it. But this bullshit that they're making up about boys cannot even compare to the actual truth that girls at that age do to each other and the nasty, disgusting things that they say to each other. The worst bit, they're not joking, those girls, they're being fucking serious. And they're not doing it for the laughs, no, they actually want to hurt you and to make you feel like you're a shitty person. The worst bit, women actually pretend like they're your friend and then they go say bullshit behind your back. They pretend like they're your friend and then they go insult you in your face. How can this even compare to the bullshit they're making up about boys in this video? You can see why I have an issue with such generalizations. Yes, there's a small minority of boys who do hurt and insult girls, but they're a very, very small minority, and most likely it will be happening mostly in public schools rather than private ones, because alongside the social class, there's many other factors that affect how a person turns out to be in a society, including their parents, their parenting methods, the inclusion of a male role model in their life. Everything plays a role on how you turn up to be as a person. On the other hand, we've got the girls, the majority of which insult each other and insult boys as well. And in this case, it doesn't even matter what social class they came from, because in my experience, the higher the social class is, the bitchier the fucking girl is. In the end of the day, it's only a minority from this side and a majority from this side. It doesn't mean all 100% of people. It never will. Just like a man raping a woman doesn't make all men into rapists and all women into rape victims, same goes in the other situation. Just because a woman marries a man for his money doesn't make all women into gold diggers and all men naive. It's just common sense. We're all different. For me, this video is confusing as fuck, because I get the feeling that they're trying to tell a story of a specific girl that went to a specific school, to a specific classroom, the majority of boys in which were raised by single mothers, had no male role models, were never taught respect and how to act like a decent human being, and were always told that men are shitheads and women will always be better. That's the feeling that I get. But according to the actual presentation of this video, the whole world is full of bastards with dicks.
Some of the people won't get the joke. And funnily enough, it isn't any of the girls. It's some of the boys.
Bullshit. If a boy ever gets the idea that a girl is actually a whore, probably there was something that led on to this idea. Most likely the fact that this is not the first boy that this girl is with. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that being 16 and wasted is making you a whore. Trust me, when I was 16, I would also get so wasted. But getting wasted with your friends does not make you a whore. The way that you behave with boys, that's what might make you a whore.
So by the time I turn 16, a couple of the boys will have snuck their hands down my pants while I'm so drunk I can't even stand straight. And although I say no, they just laugh. It's funny, right?
The thing is, blaming boys for being horny and curious at that age is as stupid as blaming birds for migrating for the winter seasons. It's fucking ridiculous. And from this scene in the video, it's obvious that this boy isn't just some random stranger. He probably considers himself to be her boyfriend. He probably have been dating her for a while. Let's get this straight. Yes, there are young boys out there who do rape girls. That happens, as well as young girls who accuse men and boys of raping and molesting them, and they are never questioned, as well as girls who consent at the moment of intercourse and then change their mind and accuse of rape the next day. All of that shit does happen. But in a Western country, which is the target demographics for this short film, rape doesn't happen every day. Rape is not something acceptable. Rapists go to jail in our countries. We do not live in a rape culture. We don't. Unlike countries with Sharia law, for example, here a woman can accuse any man of rape and never be questioned, and that man will be sent to jail, where he is, most likely, will be raped himself. Because the poor silly woman just doesn't know better, right? We just don't understand shit, right? Wrong.
No wonder I'm raped when I'm 21. 21 and on my way home in a taxi driven by the son of a guy you went swimming with every Wednesday. The guy who always told insulting jokes. But they were, of course, only jokes. So you laughed.
Oh, right, of course. Your daddy laughs at jokes, his buddy makes those jokes, so obviously the buddy's son had to turn out to be a rapist. There is no other explanation to it, right? It had to be the jokes.
But his son, raised on these jokes, becomes my business.
It can't be the fact that the boy was never taught basic morals and respect. It can't be the fact that the boy was never taught that raping somebody is committing a crime and will put him in prison. No, it had to be the insulting jokes. Just had to be. Obviously, I am being sarcastic. Just because one poorly raised boy happened to commit this awful crime doesn't mean that all boys around the world are raised the same way and will all commit this awful crime. It fucking doesn't. This is an obvious fact that this video is completely ignoring, because before that, they've said this.
It's just for fun, of course. Something boys do.
So if insulting jokes lead to rape, and joking is something that boys do, that means all men with a sense of humor are rapists. This is such a toxic, disgusting way of thinking to be promoting, and I don't think an explanation here is needed to why it is disgusting, disturbing, and toxic. Because it is.
But one day he stops being Mr. Perfect, and I don't know why. Wait, am I overreacting?
Yes! Yes, you are. You're a woman. We all overreact. I constantly overreact. Watch my videos. I'm overreacting right now. If you're in a relationship and you're obviously an adult who knows how to communicate, just sit down and ask him what's wrong. Don't just go cry to your daddy that Mr. Perfect isn't Mr. Perfect anymore. Oh, boo-hoo. You're both adults. Sit down and talk about it. And if you can't talk about it, if it's that bad, you don't have to stay together. I know, it's mind-blowing. You don't have to stay with a person that doesn't make you happy. Mind-blowing. Most of the time, women just don't know how to listen, and they don't understand that a man also needs his space and his free time. Instead of giving the man the space that he needs, they try to push themselves back into the man's life, making themselves even more annoying than they already are.
One thing I do know, I'm not the victim type. I'm raised to be a strong and independent woman. But one night it's just all too much for him, with work and the in-laws and the wedding coming up. So he calls me a whore. Just like you called a girl in middle school a whore once. Then another day, he hits me.
So she finds out her man is an abusive douchebag, just like her daddy, because her daddy called a little girl a whore once. Wow! So now, men aren't just rapists, they're also abusers! Awesome! And instead of being the independent, strong woman that you're claiming to be, for some reason you stick around with that man, because apparently you love him! That's just so stupid. What can I say? This is what listening to your heart instead of your brain leads you to. Like I say, stay logical and stay rational.
I mean, I'm way out of line. I can really be a bitch sometimes. But we're still the world's greatest couple, and I'm so confused because I love him and I hate him, and I'm not sure if I really did do something wrong, and then one day he almost kills me. It all goes black. Even though I have a PhD, a fantastic job, I'm loved by my friends and family, I'm well brought up, and nobody saw this coming.
So the man you're with ends up being an abusive douchebag. Can't deny it, it happens. But there's also a lot of women who abuse their husbands because they know that their husbands are not gonna fight back. What about those women? But in general, people who stay in these toxic relationships are themselves at fault. Her father should have taught her that if she's not happy in a relationship, especially if her partner calls her a whore and hits her, she shouldn't stay with that guy. Why the fuck would he teach her that she should stay with an abusive man who hits her?
Don't let my brothers call girls whores. Because they're not. And one day some little boy might think it's true. Don't accept insulting jokes from weird guys by the pool, or even friends. Because behind every joke there is always some truth.
This doesn't make much sense. If you're saying that there's truth behind every joke, are you saying that these boys actually have a reason to call these girls whores? We have the exact same saying in Russian. В каждой шутке есть доля правды. that means it's the joke that holds the truth, not the person who is telling the joke. It doesn't matter who tells the joke. So if the joke is that some girls are whores, does that mean that there's truth behind it? I guess it does. Because you've said this.
Don't let my brothers call girls whores. Because they're not.
And then you've said this.
Because behind every joke there is always some truth.
So what is it then? Are all girls innocent little delicate flowers, or are some of them, well, whores? Either way, this whole statement is a bunch of bullshit. What both parents need to understand is that they need to teach both their boys and girls basic respect, basic morals, not to be abusive, not to commit crimes, respect each other, and that's all. It's not about stupid, silly jokes. It's not about your sense of humor. It really isn't. Yes, some people have issues. Some men are abusive. Some women are abusive as well. But that's not because they've made insulting jokes when they were teenagers. It's because they were brought up this way or because they have psychological issues.
But dear Daddy, I will be born a girl. Please do everything you can so that that won't stay the greatest danger of all.
Oh, the greatest danger of all, being born a girl in a first world Western country. Not war, not a nuclear explosion, not drugs and alcohol. No, men are the greatest danger of them all. With their evil penises, they insult with jokes, and they rape, and they abuse them, and their evil dicks. And that is exactly what this video wants us to think. What a load of bullshit. By assuming that all people are the same, we're assuming that everybody had the same circumstances, the same experiences, and we've all handled them the exactly same way. Which is very, very unrealistic. I shouldn't even be the one telling you what a load of bullshit that is. I know that you know what a load of bullshit that is. There are people out there who do bad shit, both men and women, but there's also a lot of people who were raised and brought up to be good, respectful individuals and part of our society who contribute to it in a good way and not in a negative way. Those people still exist. Like I've said, we will definitely be getting back to these issues in future live streams. If you would like to join one of those streams, I will be sending out individual links to join them on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. So either before or during the stream, just hit me up and I will send you a link and you will be able to join our entertaining conversation. As soon as I switch from my shitty internet provider, because yeah. Until then, let me know what you think about this whole bullshit issue, and I will see you next time. Stay logical, stay rational. Bye!